What you doing, Ian?
I've been reading some of these rules in Leviticus and I'm a little confused.
How so?
Well, some of them make perfect sense. It says the Israelites shouldn't lie or steal or hurt each other. It says they should respect their parents and should love their neighbors like they love themselves.
I've read stuff like that in other parts of the Bible.
Right, me too. But then it sort of goes off the deep end. It says they can't trim their beards.
What? No beard trimming?
It says they can't sew together two different kinds of fabric or plant a field with two different crops. It says they can eat bugs that swarm in the air, but not bugs that swarm on the ground.
Right. So you can eat locusts and grasshoppers.
'Cause they fly.
But not ants.
'Cause they don't. And no eating pigs either.
No bacon? Well, that's downright peculiar.
Exactly. So what's with all these wacky rules, and why don't we follow them all today?
Right. We still can't lie or cheat or hurt each other.
But we can eat bacon or ants. Not that I'm saying I want to eat ants, but if I did, no one would say it was a sin.
You raise a very good question.
Thanks.
That's a big question.
Thanks. You think it might be time for...
Big Questions with Buck Denver!
Wait, I'm here. Big Questions with Bug Denver. Today's question: what's with all the wacky rules and why don't we follow them today?
What's with all the wacky...
All right. You don't need to repeat the whole thing.
Okay.
Sunday school lady, what do we know?
Glad to help out, Buck. What's confusing you, Ian, is that God gave Israel more than one kind of rule because he was asking them for more than one kind of holiness. Some of the rules were for ritual holiness, while others were for ethical holiness.
That does not help at all.
I don't think she's done.
No, I wasn't. Do you know what a ritual is? It's something we do over and over that has a deep meaning, that reminds us of something important. For example, some football teams have a strange habit. Before they run out for a game, they'll all touch a rock.
Is it a magic football rock?
No, it's just an ordinary rock. But the habit of hitting it before each game reminds them of their commitment to playing hard and doing their very best. Hitting the rock is a ritual that reminds them of something important.
Oh, I get it. It sounds crazy to us, but it means something to them.
Just like all the crazy rules in Leviticus.
Right. All those rules about their clothes and their food and their hair would remind the Israelites 20 times a day that they were set apart for God. It would remind them to do their very best.
And get the most touchdowns.
Wait, you're taking the football analogy a little too far.
Oh, home runs?
So what's ethical mean?
Ethical means how we behave, how we treat each other. Back to our football team. They all hit the rock, that's a ritual. But they also have rules about how they behave. No fighting in the locker room. No telling lies about other players. Come to practice on time, or else. Those are ethical rules to keep the team together so it can accomplish its goal.
So rules like loving our neighbors and not stealing or murdering, those are ethical rules.
Yep, and they're still true in the New Testament.
But the crazy sounding rules about food and clothes and hair and stuff, those are ritual rules for the kingdom of Israel.
Exactly. Those rituals were for God's physical kingdom, a place called Israel, under the Old Promise, the Old Covenant, the Old Testament. Today, God's kingdom is everywhere, not a physical kingdom like Israel. Today, we live under the New Promise, the New Covenant, the New Testament.
So the ritual rules were just for the kingdom of Israel, but the ethical rules are for all of us.
Well, there you go.
Brilliant! And that's our big question.
Cut!
What?
Too much talking. We need a song.
You expect us to make a song about ritual and ethical holiness?
You can make a country song about anything. Don't believe me? Watch this. Don't eat bacon, don't eat ants. Use just one fabric for your pants. Don't trim the edges of your beard. You know, this sounds a little weird. Love your neighbor as yourself. Now that's a recipe for health. To sort God's laws for holiness, it helps to have this little test. Ritual and ethical, God gave these laws to Israel to show them how to live and who to be. You know that's right. The ritual has gone away, but ethical remains today and still applies to you and me. Ritual and ethical, it's not at all illogical. When you know the difference, you will see. There's much to learn that's practical from the book Levitical about holiness and living differently. So don't discard the ethical, first stop and take a breathical, 'cause you can still be holy eating bacon ravioli with a side of chocolate-covered ants and cotton patches on wool pants. It's time to get down off the fence and shout Leviticus makes sense. Now at last we understand the logic under all of God's commands. Hee-haw! See? Told you.
Country music. What an amazing thing.